Opening up the mailbag, people already asking about potential trades. Jaylen Brown's growth. Is Luke Kornet just going to start while Porzingis is out? It's all right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Thanks to Blockbuster brand, it's holiday season. Drop Drew in the mix, and 3 from KP. No, we not on the Knicks. Flushing competition like Al on Giannis. Juice and Big Deuce, still Big Town's finest. Banner 18 going up in the rafters. Watch the C's game in locked on NASA. Corrales on the breakdown. Clutch like a tip from D. White on the breakdown. John on the mic documenting domination. Matter pen a back bay, it's all C's nation. Rain and J's, how we started raising business. How we finish. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. Peace.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast. It's right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day, and I got you covered every Monday through Friday. Plus, during the regular season, when they play on the weekends, bonus podcast. So maybe it's a 6-day-a-week podcast, maybe it's 7. I've done that before, and I'll do it again just for you. If you're new to the show, welcome aboard. Thank you so much. I'm John Corrales. I used to play, and now I'm covering the Celtics. I hope I don't used to cover, unless somebody got some news that I didn't. But I currently cover the team for Boston Sports Journal. I've been doing this job for about 20 years overall. I've written a couple of Celtics books. The latest one is called Built Different. Get it for $30 on johncorrales.com. Personalized and signed and sent to your door in the United States. $30. Not bad. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. It's a mailbag day. Later on, people asking about who will take the last shot. We'll talk about retired numbers, current players whose numbers may or may not be retired. Luke Kornet starting. I have some thoughts on that for sure. Let's start, though, with I can't believe we're talking about trades, but I got a question from Joey and Andrew. Joey says, do you think there could be a midseason trade, or do you think they're going to sit this one out? Andrew says, I assume the Celtics are not making any trades this season, but are other teams reaching out to them with offers? So just so you understand how this works, GMs are in constant contact. So to answer the question most bluntly, directly, no, I do not think they make a trade this season, barring any sort of injury, right? Like something major happens and they trade injured player. I won't even name a name, but because I don't believe in jinxes, but I'm also not going to take any chances. They trade injured player into somebody's cap space or something in a way to maneuver. It would have to be like catastrophic beyond. So aside from something like that extreme case, no, I do not think they're going to make a midseason trade. However, and that answers Joey's question, but Andrew, it's not just, hi, I am the GM of the, Indiana Pacers. I'm going to call Boston and say, hey, what would you like for, I don't know, Andrew Nembhard? Or, hey, you guys are super expensive. Would you consider parting with a Drew Holiday? And that's not exactly how it works. Teams are always talking. Brad Stevens, even though I think he's not going to make a trade, is certainly going to call around the league. And he's going to be like, hey, what's going on? What are you guys thinking? How's your team looking? Well, what do you, if you were going to, entertain something, are you entertaining anything? Is there anything we can do for you? Like that type of conversation is just constantly happening throughout the NBA. The Celtics and every other GM has a board. Brad Stevens has a board somewhere in that room, somewhere in that front office, somewhere they've got, whether it's a literal board on a wall or a document, a Word document or something, where they say, okay, these are the players that could potentially move. These are the players with this contract situation. These are the teams that might be looking to make a move. And they're just always keeping an eye on things. So you never know when something might change where you might say, oh my God, the Milwaukee Bucks just traded Drew Holiday to Portland. We know Portland doesn't want to be good. We didn't think that was going to happen. We thought he was going to Miami. Miami would never trade with us, but now Portland would potentially. So let's give them a call. and they've probably been on the phone with those with the Portland front office about other stuff, and just you keep that relationship going. So when you do need something, they pick up the phone and they are like, "Yeah, hey, I know you. We have a good relationship. Yeah, let's talk." So I don't think other teams are calling necessarily to say, "Hey, how about Drew Holiday? Hey, how about Derek White?" Or, but they might Jaden Springer. They might be like, "Hey, Jordan Walsh, we can develop him a little bit better. Maybe we can give you a pick." Maybe there's like end of bench. Maybe there's young guys that they might be like, "Hey, if Baylor Shireman isn't quite working out for you, we could go second round pick for him." Like that type of stuff, maybe. But they're not doing something like big. So don't expect any noise from the Celtics as far as midseason trades. Jeff says, besides injuries, what can stop the Celtics from winning banner 19 this season? The popular answer will be themselves, because they look ready already after 2 preseason games. They do not look like they need the next 3 preseason games, but they're a team that you never know. It could be like we're reaching, right? Fair warning. This is the reaching portion of the answer. You never know what's coming up. And it's kind of a very Joe Mazzulla thing to think, because you don't know what could be coming, you have to be prepared for anything. So if it's not an injury, if you're saying, I've looked into the future, the Boston Celtics do not win a championship, and there are no injuries of note, what is it? Well, sometimes you just get beat. Maybe New York maybe Karl Anthony Towns is an absolute smash of a trade and they just beat the Celtics. Celtics play well, they lose. That could simply happen. Philadelphia 76ers, fully healthy. They have the best luck ever. Joel Embiid is a monster. The Celtics don't match up well with Joel Embiid necessarily, and he, for once, leads his team all the way. Entirely possible. There is a universe in which that happens. We just hope that this is not that universe. But most likely, it's the Celtics slippage, the Celtics giving somebody an opening. So that's what Joe Mazzulla has been trying to fight. That's what he's been worried about. And so the call is coming from inside the house. The biggest threat is yourself. And that's what they have to fight throughout this whole season. So far, we're doing this show. This is the October 10th show. So it's very early. Things look great, but you never know when somewhere along the way, somebody sees something, says something, does something that derails the whole thing. So that's my biggest fear. If I were to say I have a fear, which I don't really. I really feel good about their chances, but we'll see. Matt says, Jaylen Brown seems to add to his game every offseason and always gets better. What do you think he is adding this year? Also, do you think his untraditional path to stardom has contributed to the continued disrespect? So the last answer first. Yeah, I think I've said this on the podcast many times. I'm very guilty of early in Jaylen's career putting him in a box. He, did not get a ton of opportunity in his rookie season. He was benched many times. He was very raw. I've said, many times that he attacked the basket with reckless abandon, without a plan, straight lines all the way, no changing speeds, no nothing. The way he drives now is not how he drove then. He's grown significantly, but you keep, the more you put a player in a box, the more you believe that you are correct and other stuff is an aberration. You start to, while that's happening, look at, I said Anthony Edwards yesterday on the podcast, and Ant is, a budding superstar, potential face of the league, and young, charismatic, always smiling, blah blah blah, all that stuff, and he's great. He's a great young player. But Jaylen Brown is better at this moment, and people, because they like the new shiny thing, they're not going to say that. They're just going to be like, oh, Ant, we love you. You're the next Michael Jordan. Look at how much you smile. We're going to put you in every commercial and all of that stuff. So that's part of the disrespect. I think one of the things like we see in Boston, we just get a closer look. Now, what is he going to do better this season? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think his next step here this season is just doing everything better, just polishing the entire, toolbox, every tool in the toolbox, just a little bit quicker, a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, all of that stuff. His strength is certainly, it stands out in the first couple of preseason games, maybe just a little bit more bully ball, maybe a little bit more in the post. So if I'm going to pick a thing on the floor, maybe post play, bullying smaller players on his way to the basket. But I think the general answer is going to be just doing everything a little bit cleaner, crisper, and that raises his game. Maybe makes him a little bit more efficient. Up next, does Luke Kornet just become the Celtics starting center? We'll talk about that in just a second. Today's show brought to you by Game Time. It's the place to go for your last-minute tickets, and now they have a feature. It's called Game Time Picks. It makes the ticket process, buying your tickets, even easier. They filter out the fluff. They only show you the incredible deals, the best deals on the best seats, so you don't have to go scrolling. Oh, endless. It's so tedious. So they do all of the work for you. So it's curated. You can save more on things like sports tickets, comedy tickets, concerts, theater. It's all there. You flip on that all-in pricing button, you get the final price. You know what you're going to pay. You also know what you're going to see because they give you the panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy it. So you can see it, you know what the price is, and you know it's going to be the lowest price, because if you happen to see those tickets after you buy the tickets on Game Time, you say, hey, wait a minute, I found these tickets for less. They'll say, no problem. 110% of the difference credited to your account. So now you have the lowest price. That's the best, most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, download that Game Time app, redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA. Make that your second listen. I'm there on Wednesdays with Jake Madison. We cover the entire league. So if you want to tune in on Wednesdays, give it a shot, and then give the other days a shot, because everybody who hosts is really good. It's just a great way to keep up with the whole league. You're going to want to keep up with the league to see who's chasing the Celtics, what are the biggest threats out there, and all of that stuff. Back to the mailbag, and we're going to go to Reagan. Do you think there's any chance Horford comes off the bench all year to keep his role constant, even with Porzingis out? Maybe start Kornet most games. Yeah, I actually said this. I was on a radio show the other day, and I brought up that possibility. I think it's certainly possible. I even had a Q&A on Boston Sports Journal where I said this exact same thing. My feeling is I don't think so. I think Horford will start. I think they'll just go with the comfortable thing. But I also am not ruling out that Kornet is pretty good at all those little things. I did a little breakdown on Boston Sports Journal. The little things, the screen setting, the short roll, the passing out of that, the quick decisions, quick ball movement, reversing the floor, all of that stuff. He's pretty good at that. So Horford, with his experience and at his age, you want to keep his minutes down. Easier to do that coming off the bench. If Kornet is not working on a particular night, you could just put Horford in and say, here's an earlier sub, and you go with a different rotation. You say that, well, we're just going to go with Tillman after that. Horford comes in earlier. Tillman will come in, mop up some minutes, and we'll just catch up to our rotations in the second quarter and beyond. A very viable, very normal, acceptable option there. Keeping Horford in that consistent role, not falling into a trap of, well, we need to limit his minutes. So basically it's 20 to 25 minutes. So what's that? 12 minutes per half, 6 minutes per quarter on average. Maybe it's 8 and 4. But if you're going to do it that way, maybe it's a better way to manage the minutes by having him come in at the end of the first quarter, play a few minutes, sit to book, you get the natural rest at the end of the quarter. So it's, you get a little bit of a break. You come in, you play till the TV timeout, and that's a great natural progression. Then you come in, you finish the half, just like you can finish the quarter, and you have Horford in your most important lineups. I think it's possible. I can absolutely talk myself into Luke Kornet as the starting center until Porzingis gets back. Horford in a consistent, limited minutes role, no more than 25 minutes a game. You don't want to blow out his legs early. So I like it. I like that idea. I might advocate for that idea. We'll see what happens in that first preseason game at home on Saturday night, which is stupidly an 8:00 start. Why are you starting a Saturday night game at 8:00 in the preseason? What is going on, NBA? Anyway, sorry. Minor sports writer rant. If Horford starts that game, then Horford will start the season. If Kornet starts again, and if Horford plays, especially if Horford plays, but if Kornet starts again, then I think Kornet might be the starter. So something to keep an eye on. Moving on, Andrew says, let's talk retired numbers. Let's, Andrew. I think it's fair to say Tatum and Brown are going to go into the rafters. But if they win again, would that get Drew and White up there? Or will they fall into the same category as Danny Ainge and Don Chaney, long-term Celtics with multiple rings that just didn't do enough? I tend to think the latter. But yes, Tatum and Brown, especially if they win again. But Tatum and Brown you're going to see the 0 and the 7 go up into the rafters. I think that's a safe bet. Holiday, I'm going to say no. I think White has a chance. If he plays a few more years and plays at the level that he's playing at now and gets a second championship, we might see his number go into the rafters. So that would put the Celtics in a little bit of a bind, because at this point they'll have 0, 0, 1, 2, 3 retired, 5, 6, 7, and 9. So number 8 and number 4 will be the only 2 single-digit numbers that are not retired. Again, here's my opportunity to throw the 0 in front of the number thing. So Jaylen Brown's 7 goes up into the rafters. How about 0-7 for somebody? Again, my argument is, if Robert Parrish's 0 is in the rafters, he wore 0. Why is 0 and 0 cool, but 1 and 0-1, why is that different? I don't get it. And I've seen people respond to me and be like, no player is going to want to wear 0-7. Well, no player is going to want to wear the number 85 either. So if you're number 7 in college and the Celtics draft you 12 years from now and 7 is in the rafters, but 07 is available, I would take 07. I would. So you gotta, where are you going to go? What number are you going to get? Some combination that adds up to 7. You start to you're going to have problems. So Tatum and Brown for sure. White has an outside chance. I think Holiday doesn't do enough statistically, and he's probably not going to stick around long enough where you can be like that. He'll be part of the debate. He'll fall into the Danny Ainge debate kind of thing. One more here before we take a quick break here. Kevin from LA says, based on your opinion attending all home games and Banner 18 festivities, Do you think Celtics fans in different states in the city of Boston should continue covering Irving's name on the back of jerseys everywhere they go, or remove the duct tape and let go, rep the Boston Celtics as the main theme and not about Kyrie Irving's bad year, and based on NBA memes on Twitter, Kyrie fulfilled his promise in bringing Boston a championship. Respect. So the joke is that Kyrie, by playing crappy in the finals, delivered on giving Boston a championship. So take the duct tape off the back of your Kyrie jersey. My real answer is do what you want to do. I think the thank you, Kyrie, sarcastically is hilarious. I'm all for that. But if you have an 11 jersey and you want to put the duct tape over it, there's another number 11 here in Boston that probably, if you got a couple of bucks, maybe you go buy his jersey instead and donate the Kyrie 11 jersey somewhere else. But I understand not everybody can do that. If you want to duct tape it, go ahead. But if you want to say, Kyrie, thanks for the championship when the Mavs visit, by all means, have at it. I think that's a lot of fun. All right, who takes the last shot for the Celtics? I give a very predictable answer. Plus, what I'm most excited for, predictions for end of season awards and all that. It's coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. It's America's #1 sports book. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. All you got to do is place a $5 bet. Your first $5 bet gets you $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. So that's a great way to get a big return to start the season. Place your first bet, $5, win or lose. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. You get $200 in bonus bets. If you're watching during the game, you get a hunch during the game. You can open up the FanDuel app and see live stats, play-by-play, and a whole lot more right on the same page you make your bets. So if you want to make an in-game wager, you can do that. You can get all the stats right there and then confirm your hunch and make your bet. Make sure you're using the tools that they have to set your budget, to set your limits. Don't go overboard. We want you to just have fun with the spare cash you got lying around, your disposable income. Gamble responsibly at FanDuel.com. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast. Watch the show on YouTube. Get into that comment section. Let me know what you're thinking. Join a very fun, respectable Celtics community in the comment section. It's the rare YouTube comment section where people are cool. So thank you all for being cool. Go join other cool people and have some fun while you're listening to the podcast or watching the podcast. Let's get back to the mailbag and wrap this sucker up. Jack says, hey, John, out of all the Celtics, who would you like taking the last shot? I said my answer is going to be predictable. If you know me, if you're an everydayer, first of all, thank you, love you, really appreciate you being here, hopefully 5 days a week. You know that I'm going to say it with me, whoever's open. And that takes a lot into account. Like, I know Tatum gets the last shot a lot of the time. Jaylen has proven that he can hit the last shot. Game 1 against the Pacers sends it into overtime. That's a big last second shot. That was huge. He's capable of hitting it. Derek White has hit last second shots. Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, any of those people is capable. And when I say whoever is open, it's not like a cop-out to be like, oh, I'm not going to pick a person. No, what I'm saying is move the damn ball, run at least a little bit of an action, make the defense move so it's not just a Tatum step back three. That's all I'm saying. So if Tatum gets every last shot during the season, fine. If Jaylen does, fine. I don't care who the player is. Move the damn ball, run a little bit of offense, have some off-ball action to occupy the defense, and see if someone can get open. That's it. If Jayson has the ball in his hands and makes a pass, then great. That guy who catches the ball, I don't care who it is. Literally anybody. It's not like other teams where you go, oh crap. I can't believe that's the guy who got the last shot. Any of the Celtics top 6, top 7, top 8 players. Because if Peyton Pritchard gets the last shot, I'm cool with it. If Sam Hauser gets the last shot, I'm cool with it. So you got the starting 5, then you got Horford, Pritchard, Hauser. Is anybody, honestly, put it in the comment section. Are you upset if any of those 8 guys gets an open look as a buzzer beater? If you say yes, you're lying. You're joking. You cannot be like, you got to go down to Luke Kornet getting a jumper where I'm like, man, I can't believe, okay. Then I kind of wish there was another option there. But even that, you're like, hey, open guy. But seriously, any of Boston's top 8 guys, cool. I'm cool. But the point is, run a little bit of offense. Jack also asked, what are you most excited for this upcoming season? Man, I'm just excited I'm excited to be back in the building. I'm excited for basketball. I'm excited to see how these guys handle success, how these guys like handle the bumps in the road. Is there any difference? Is there any growth? What's Tatum like? What's Jaylen like? What next steps are they all taking? I honestly, I've come to feel like I just view the game so differently, and not to say like that's better or worse than other people. My concern, and I say this every once in a while, my loyalty, yes, I do a Celtics podcast, but my loyalty is always to the game of basketball. So if the Celtics do anything to disrespect the game somehow, which I thought they were doing a few seasons ago, I will say so and have no problem saying so. If I think they are cheating the game, I will have no problem saying so. If the Celtics ever in my time put out a team that is full of less than stellar human beings, I will say so, because they're disrespecting the game. So what I want to see out of these guys is their devotion to the game and giving it the respect it deserves, because it's given them so much. So how do you do that? By working your butts off, by putting the championship that you just won kind of in the past while you're chasing that next one and doing all those little things all over again. I want to see, can they do that? How long can they do that? How long can this team stay together? But for this upcoming season, kind of want to see. And, you know, you want to see progression out of people. I want to see if Jaden Springer can pick up a role, you know, a bigger role. Can, I don't know, Jordan Walsh step into something at some point? Can, you know, what's ever going to happen with Lonnie Walker? You know, those things always interest me. What's Jaylen going to do to add to his game? Is he going to unveil something? You know, how's Porzingis going to play? All that stuff. Yes. But I'm more focused on like the people in that locker room, and what are you doing on a daily basis? How are you keeping your head on straight and all of that stuff? So that's what I'm most excited to see. List your predictions for major. This is like the Jack. Everybody in here is named Jack. Are there just a bunch of people named Jack, or did Jack just hijack this whole sorry. This entire section, whatever, it doesn't matter. List your predictions for the major end of season awards. I'll start out by saying rookie of the year. I don't know. I don't care. I have no idea. You know, whatever. I'll say Edie in Memphis. Sure. Why not? I'll go with him, but I don't care. I'm not as well versed in the rookies. Let me see how they do in the NBA, and then I'll know when to start paying attention to them. MVP. I'm going Rudy Gobert. I'm not. No, I'm going with Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic is, I think, he's going to be, he's in the right situation. Tatum has a shot. Tatum does have a shot, but he's going to have to play like the most efficient season of his life. And if the Celtics win 64 games again or somewhere around there, and he's having the season of his life, then he could win it. But I'm just going to say Jokic because their bench is a little, suspect. They've made some moves where some guys who are, I'm unsure about their ability to step into the roles that Denver needs them to step into. So I think Denver's still going to be really good though. And I think if Denver's in the top 3 seed, it's going to be because of Jokic. So I think Jokic is just going to show that he's valuable, the most valuable again. But people are saying Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, wouldn't be surprised. Luka Doncic, wouldn't be surprised. Jason Tatum, I think a little bit of a longer shot, but has a chance. So that's that. Defensive Player of the Year, Bam Adebayo. Because, listen, sorry for people who just strictly hate Miami. I said this on Locked On NBA. Bam Adebayo has been kind of like shunned. That's not the right word, but shut out of Defensive Player of the Year. He needs to win one. This is his chance to win one because Victor Wembanyama is going to win them starting next season and forever until he stops playing. So I kind of want to see, I think Bam deserves a Defensive Player of the Year. I think he is one of the best defensive players, if not the best defensive player in the league. So I kind of want to see him get the award. I can say that without saying, that Miami probably can still be like the 8th or 9th seed and he can still be the Defensive Player of the Year. This is their offense is going to suck. So I'll say that. Who else? 6th Man of the Year, Dante DiVincenzo. Let's go Dante DiVincenzo. I think he's going to have, after the trade, I think Minnesota is going to really lean on him. So I think he'll get 6th Man of the Year. What else? Coach of the Year. Can I just say Joe Mazzulla? That maybe he finally gets that recognition. Joe Mazzulla is going to get that. That's as far as I'll go with that. Come on, get Joe the freaking award. If they win 60 plus games, he's going to have to get it. Finally, there's a question about new season. We're going to get a new. I deleted the person who asked me this, so I apologize for that. But new theme song. I was asked about a new theme song. Yes, we're getting a new theme song. It's going to be a little bit shorter. It's going to be a little bit more concise. We're changing the open to the show a little bit. So it's going to be like a 15 to 20 second theme song. So it's not going to, this current one is 40 seconds. So we're going to do half the distance, half the time. But we are going to get a new theme. It's going to be more topical. And so, which means we're going to reference banner 18 and going for banner 19. So yes, look out for that. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks. So make sure you're subscribed to the show to know, hey, I know it's going to be the most pressing question on your mind. There's nothing else going on in the world that's more pressing than whether this podcast gets a new theme. So subscribe to make sure you know. If you're not a subscriber yet, if you are a subscriber, thank you so much. Would love everybody to get into that YouTube comment section and join that community there because it really is a bunch of really cool Celtics fans having a conversation in there. So go check that out. And I would love it if everybody shared the podcast. And tell your friends, tell everybody that they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.